Hi, I'm Thomas Bowles, Prince William County Agricultural Extension Agent. Welcome to our video. We're looking at weeds. Got a big crop of them here. This is dead nettle, close cousin to henbit, annual mint. There are a few pollinators buzzing around, taking advantage of this early nectar source. Over here we have chickweed starting to flower. Of course, everybody knows the dandelion. Over here we've got clover, and clover, of course, marries well with turf. It really isn't a weed and actually benefits your lawn. Let's see what else we can find in this weedy little mess. Oh, this lovely. This is bittercress. Bittercress has these white flowers, these long elongated seed pods that when they're mature, just the slightest touch or gust of wind like we've got today, it would blow seeds everywhere. The base, pull one of these up. Actually, here's a smaller one. See, it starts as a rosette and then it puts up the flower spikes. These are really easy to pull. Doesn't take much to pull these weeds. Usually hand pulling is a much better option than chemicals. Now in a situation like this where you've got a garden that's massively overgrown, hand pulling is still a good option. You can hand pull this after it's set flower and giving those pollinators that early nectar source, or if you can't handle that, doing it beforehand. But you can hand pull all of this and either turn it under for nutrients, or you can lay it down just right on the soil to protect the soil, not have bare spots, protect your soil, just act as a mulch, and this is going to decay over time and those nutrients will come right back. Really easy to handle. Chickweed, pretty easy to pull too. This is actually a carrot. It's planted in the wrong place. You could consider it a weed, or you could just hang on. Actually, I take that back. I believe it's a persimmon, or it's parsnip. That's a parsnip there. We can wait until that gets bigger and we can harvest it. This garden area didn't get cover crops this fall, and so right now the dead nettle is the primary cover crop with a little bit of chickweed thrown in. Some of our weeds can act as cover crops, especially these annuals that are easy to kill and reincorporate into the soil. Here we've got some bittercress. Depending on how mature it is, let's see if we've got some mature ones that are mature enough to throw seeds out for us. Yeah, you can see the seeds popping with some of these. Some of those seed pods were mature. Just a little bit of effort and they'll start popping out. This is why you want to get bittercress as early as possible before it gets really seedy. Let's see if we can see that exploding seed. We've got some full seed pods and some empty ones. Just a gentle flick, and you can see seeds flying by really fast even at this slow speed. As you can see, the seeds are extremely tiny. So we're looking at weeds. You can see all kinds of things in this particular set of turf. We have ground ivy, which is in flower. That's these purple flowers here. We have chickweed that is flowered and now actually starting to probably form some seeds in there. Chickweed at this point is probably too late to treat, just because it's going to form seeds and die anyway. We've got a dandelion there, going to come up. We've got plantains over here. Plantain's trying to come up. We've got some light-colored wood sorrel there. Looks like some veronica down in there. Those little bluish flowers. Got clover, which we don't necessarily consider a weed, but some people do. And somewhere in here, we've got, over here we've got some dead nettle with its pinky purple flowers. Here we've got some wild strawberry. This is a particularly difficult weed to get rid of. This is one of those things that you want to try and get rid of in your lawn as soon as you can, because it is so hard to control, especially once it's fully established. So here at the base of this tree, you can see the grass is pretty sparse. We've got moss because of the shade, a little bit of grass trying to struggle, bunch of different weeds taking hold. You don't really get into grass till you get quite a ways from the trunk, and this is because of shade. Now in this section of turf, we've got some interesting weeds. We've got our wild strawberry over here, about to flower. We have chickweed over here, and then this is wild violet. Wild violet's a perennial that dies back to the ground. Wild violet, really difficult to get out of the turf. If you don't like wild violets, then you really have to dig them out early. If you don't mind them, then they make a nice addition to your turf. What's that purple stuff in that yard? Well, this is ground ivy. Ground ivy is a perennial which has purple flowers. These purple flowers are important nectar sources for a lot of our early pollinators, especially some of our wasps. Good wasps, not stingy guys. And ground ivy is nice because it stays green most of the year. In winter, when we get really cold, sometimes it'll bronze out a little bit, but it usually recovers once the spring hits. It gives this nice pop of color. It's really a beautiful little plant. It is in the mint family, so it does have kind of a peculiar smell to it when you mow it, but it doesn't get very high. And it's a weed you might want to think about living with. Thank you for watching this video. As the season progresses, we're hoping to do more weed walks to be able to show you different types of weeds as they're coming up in lawns across the county, to help you better identify the weeds in your lawn. If you enjoyed this video, please let us know. Contact us with your suggestions, your comments, ideas for other videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.